Hey, hello my favorite people. Today we're going to be learning about Brexit. As you know, I've been doing a bunch of culture videos on the channel, but one thing we have not gotten into yet is like the politics. Yes, we've learned about some of the monarchies and the history behind the monarchs, but we haven't talked about today's British government, or the euro, or the pound, or the European Union and Brexit and all that stuff. So we're going to get into it today, and I just want to have a better understanding of what it all means, especially on a nationalistic standpoint, because we are allies, America and Britain. So it's really important for me to understand what's going on, and maybe this video will help y'all see different perspectives, or you know, you can expound on your thoughts in the comments down below. So here we go into understanding the basis of Brexit. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you can see more of my culture videos. In fact, there's a whole playlist about them that are specifically about the UK, so go dally in that. Like the video so I can do more in the future and it'll help the video out immensely. Subscribe to the second channel too, which is linked down below, and DM me any of your requests or suggestions that you have over on Instagram. Okay, here we go.
Exit from the European Union. It's a thing that's happening. Or maybe not. Or maybe the United Kingdom is falling apart.
First of all, hold on. That just gave us, I guess, a rundown of everyone in the European Union and the little flag skirts.
British exit from the European Union. It's a thing that's happening.
So Britain, then we got France, we got Germany, and I don't know what these other two are. Someone let me know.
Or maybe not. Or maybe the United Kingdom is falling apart. There's a lot going on, so let's talk about Brexit briefly. First, how did we get here? In the UK, voters for UKIP, the UK Independence Party, grew in number over the last few elections. Now, because the United Kingdom uses a terrible first-past-the-post voting system, UKIP, rather than getting a proportional number of seats in Parliament, largely drained votes from the Conservative Party. So in the 2015 election, Conservatives promised to hold an in-or-out referendum on the EU if they won.
Okay, first question. When you say the Independent Party, is that just the American Democratic Party, or is an independent party like the middle ground? Like you have the right wing, the left wing, and then the independents who are in the middle. Let me know. Because you just said the Conservatives lost some leeway and joined the independent party.
Presumably to try and sway UKIP voters to their side. The Conservatives did win in what was, by the way, the most unrepresentative election in UK history.
Conservatives? Y'all's Conservatives are blue. Our Democrats are blue, Conservatives are red. It's the opposite for you guys. It's gonna be confusing.
Try and sway UKIP voters to their side. The Conservatives did win in what was, by the way, the most unrepresentative election in UK history. Thanks again, first past the post. Click here for more details. And the promised referendum was scheduled. With huge voter turnout, Brexit won 52 to 48. So what happens next? Well, okay,
52% versus 48. That's a small margin for such a big change. 52% versus 48%. Oh man. But I guess the same could be said about our presidencies, whether they're 51% versus 49. That's a small leeway and it's a major change, but still, man. But for those who were opposed to Brexit, I feel like they were enraged when this happened.
Has a law called Article 50 saying countries can exit. Basically, it's a press here to leave button. But the Conservative Prime Minister who promised upon Brexit victory to press it immediately instead resigned immediately, leaving the UK politically doing nothing. There was talk of a...
Who is that? Is that Boris or the lady who was before him? That's messed up. Oh man.
To press it immediately instead resigned immediately, leaving the UK politically doing nothing. There was talk of a second Brexit no, but seriously, it might actually happen if you vote for it. This one's legally binding referendum or re-electing Parliament. But then the new UK Prime Minister was appointed and she said that wouldn't happen. Presumably, the UK...
Okay, two questions. So this was even before Boris Johnson, before the lady who was before him. The person who peaced out was before both of them. But also, he just said something about whether y'all would vote just for a definitive leaving of Brexit or just to reinstate Parliament?
Parliament. But then the new UK Prime Minister was appointed and she said that wouldn't happen. Presumably, the UK Parliament now needs to pass a yes, we are really pressing the Brexit button law, but they seem to be in no rush. Meanwhile, the EU wants the UK to get on with it, but the UK wants to pre-decide all the details of what an independent UK's relationship with the EU would look like, but the EU doesn't want to talk until the UK actually leaves.
Okay, this is also very important. This video was made in 2016. Now, to my understanding, you guys have officially left the European Union. Brexit has gone through, but this is still pretty good information to show the build-up and like what it all means, what the European Union was feeling during the time of y'all freaking saying peace out. So it's still relevant.
Because talking before gives negotiating advantage to the UK and talking after to the EU. And since the EU can't force the UK to press the button, there's a sort of negotiating stalemate. Finally, because there's really no procedure for anything, the only correct answer to what happens next is who knows?
Yeah, you
we are
just gotta
standing
do
in
it.
a fog with naught but speculation. So Speculation time! Acting as a Brexit bookie, I'm putting 15% odds on the chance of maximum Brexit occurring, where the UK is a fully independent nation with total control over her trade deals and immigration and law.
Okay. Trade has been the biggest thing y'all have been commenting about in my comment section in regards to Brexit. But I don't see... I mean, yeah, it's not... I wouldn't say you broke a deal, but the relationship with you in Europe now is definitely different. But I don't see why that should ruin your allyship or trading abilities with certain countries. And on top of that, a big question I have, why the heck do y'all have a pound and not a euro? I feel like you should have the pound now that you've left the European Union, but how everybody else uses the euro, so why do y'all use the pound? Someone answer.
The UK is to the EU as Brazil is to the EU, just another country. If that probability seems low, what with the new pro-Brexit Prime Minister and with the required going against the will of the people and all, here's my reasoning why. Speculation the first. The Conservatives didn't want the UK to really leave the EU. Though they campaigned for the referendum, they were officially neutral on the issue and I suspect privately against. If you think the Conservatives are the more business-friendly party, the UK leaving the EU would be bad news for many businesses that prefer larger economic blocs.
Yeah.
Like banks.
Okay, that does make sense. But you have to remember, Britain is very powerful as well. But then again, the European Union has all the numbers. So who would you rather be working with, allied with? That's a really tough decision. And also, I keep forgetting, not everybody in the world has a democracy. Like, there's communists, there's democratic republics, there's monarchs, there's dictatorships all around the world. I feel privileged to be in a democratic country, but that's not the case for a lot of these countries that this guy's talking about. I don't think I would want a queen or king. No human is more important or more better than me. You're just another human being. You're not my king, you're not my queen. You don't rule over me. I feel like that's what a rebel would say, and I'd be assassinated.
2015 election, the Conservatives probably thought citizens wouldn't really vote for Brexit so they could safely gamble to sway UKIP voters, but again, surprise, 52 to 48. Even the new Prime Minister, whose all Brexit means Brexit, was against it before she got her current job. Speculation second, some Brexiteers didn't really want to win either. The Brexit campaign admitted after winning they had zero plans what to do, which sounds a lot like we never planned to win.
So Brexit really only benefits Britain, so why wouldn't you expect Britain to go through with it? If you're really thinking about the prosperity of your nation, what's best for y'all, Brexit is the best choice, right? Again, I'm a stupid American, so if I'm wrong about that, let me know.
UKIP resigned, an odd choice in what should be a theoretical crowning moment of glory, and after the Conservative Prime Minister resigned, the most prominent Brexiteers didn't want to take the job. Funny that. Also interesting to note, the referendum was set up to have zero legal power, something all the parties agreed on beforehand. It was essentially an opinion poll, though not at all marketed that way to voters.
Exactly, so there's a new referendum that Brexit will definitely happen, but really it has no power, no legality or anything. It's just a census or a questionnaire. I'd be pissed.
Speculate the majority of people in power do not want Brexit to happen. To be clear, while governments could just totally ignore the vote and still be technically correct, there's no way that doesn't look horrifically undemocratic. But while Brexit was sold on the idea of a stronger independent Britain, the international markets and national economy have strongly disagreed, and the geography of the vote have indicated it might not be the whole of Britain leaving.
Hold on. Back on what I said about Britain being, kings and queens, whatever. I completely forgot about Boris Johnson and the whole, what do you call them? Whoever y'all's little people are, the Boris Johnson, the lady, and the one who left before and said peace out. So y'all have your kings, you have your queens, whatever, but you also have elected officials who represent you. Now, I don't know if that goes also into your parliament, but I know, like, the Boris Johnson people, Prime Minister, you vote them in. So I guess in a way it kind of is a democracy that way.
Scotland immediately said that if the UK leaves the EU, Scotland isn't coming. She voted to stay, so she will. If maximum Brexit occurs, I put 97% odds on Scotland leaving the UK and...
Whoa. That just blew my mind because the United Kingdom is Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and England. Those 4 countries. And Brexit has happened in 2020. Again, this is from 2016. As of today, Brexit has happened. So therefore, how can Scotland still be a part of the United Kingdom if they're still a part of the European Union and Britain is not? Just because y'all are on the coast, by definition, you're not one United Kingdom. Which completely dissolves everything I've been learning up to this point with these reactions and you guys' comments. That's wild.
With the EU. Add to that, if Scotland leaves, I give 45% odds of Northern Ireland leaving as well, rejoining Ireland.
I don't see that happening. With the potato famine, all the Irish history videos that we've done on the channel, I feel like there's been too much loss, too much pain, too much death, war in Ireland for just Britain to make a decision and Northern Ireland and Ireland become one unit again. In fact, Northern Ireland was loyal to England back in the day, right? So I don't, just because Brexit happens, I don't see Northern Ireland. But again, I'm in no position to make judgments. So sorry if I disrespected any loyalists or whatever.
And crazy as it sounds, if Scotland and Northern Ireland leave, I'll actually put 5% odds on London leaving England and becoming an independent city-state in the EU, which would be kind of awesome, because who doesn't love city-states? This would leave England...
Let's be honest, London, whenever you think of the United Kingdom, you think of London. And that's just my general... If you ask any one of my neighbors, when you think of the United Kingdom, you equate it to London. You don't even equate it to England, you equate it to London.
On their own, and of course, while it's possible they do just fine, there are plenty of comparable independent nations. The international markets have already said do not want to just the UK leaving as a whole, so I wouldn't bet on it being a rosy future, and it's probably not something many Brexit voters would have picked were it on the referendum. But even ignoring the breakup of the Union, when thinking about the likelihood of maximum Brexit, on one side are the majority of people who voted for it, and on the other side are the businesses and the politicians, even I speculate many who pretend to be for it. The politics of power here is why I give such low odds to maximum Brexit, and why I give 30% odds to the second option. Literally, nothing happens. The UK government plays the stalling game forever, pretending to move forward while doing nothing.
But obviously we know that is not what played out.
Politically tumultuous time becomes a trivia fact for a future video about how the UK has been in the process of leaving the EU for 100 years. Like when countries sometimes discover they're technically still at war because there's an...
Oh, I think that's Russia. I think because I think this one in the European Union was Russia. But that makes me consider. So with the European Union, you've had France, you've had Russia, you've had Germany. All countries I've been taught to think are like very selfish and like, we take care of our own, we hate everyone else. Not communist, but rough countries. But apparently they're all in allyship with each other. And that's Japan. Well...
declaration they forgot to annul. It's not a great outcome because governments and businesses and people don't like uncertainty, but never underestimate the human ability to procrastinate on paperwork. Even Miss Brexit means Brexit is also Miss mustn't be too hasty about actually pressing the Article 50 button. But the last option, I think, is the most likely. 55% odds on a non-Brexit Brexit. The European Union has many asterisks and layers to her membership. The UK could leave the European Union, slide over into the European Economic Area, and be technically correct that she's left the EU. Actually, before this whole brouhaha, the UK had arranged a deal with the EU to become more like an EEA member. That was dropped once the referendum started, but that deal is lying on a table somewhere. Just saying.
A lot of flags, a lot of labels, a lot of different categories and definitions. It all becomes very... not redundant, but overlapping.
The most pure compromise, leaving both sides unhappy. Nothing Brexit voters actually cared about would change. Immigration, EU membership fees, and binding EU laws, all this would remain the same. The only thing different would be the UK giving up all her representatives in the EU Parliament, so she would have zero influence on EU laws she would still have to follow, which is not something...
So at that point, if you're leaving this union, but you still have to abide by other union laws and rules, what's the point?
No EU voters probably want it either. But nonetheless, I give the greatest odds of this happening because nothing would change for businesses, making them happy, and for politicians, it's a face-saving maneuver to have listened to the people and to leave, while doing neither and possibly avoiding the breakup of the United Kingdom. Who wants to...
So is Brexit literally just a title name? Like nothing actually happened, it's just... It's kind of like when a kid is being snooty, so you let them believe that they're winning the argument, but really they still end up doing what you want them to do anyway. Is that kind of what Brexit has played out to be?
A minister during that. In conclusion, none of these outcomes are clean wins. The first is very probably the end of the United Kingdom and goes against what seems to be economic self-interest, but maybe not, who knows. And the other two go against, like, the idea of democracy. The UK stands at a path that splits into many futures. Maybe the EU burns herself to the ground due to all her problems and Wales Glen rises from the ashes, a mighty phoenix. Maybe the UK gets the worst of everything. Maybe literally nothing changes. Which leads where? Which is the best? It's impossible to know. The UK can only stand in the fog, speculate, and pick a path. Good luck, United Kingdom. Whatever you choose to do.
Again, so as we know, Britain did end up going through with Brexit. My question now is it how the guy described it? Literally nothing really happened. You guys still have to abide by European Union law, legality, all that stuff. My biggest question still is all these countries that stayed within the European Union, how is your relationship with all those? I know that once Biden was elected for the United States as president, within the first few days, he was talking about communicating with Boris Johnson on different politics and like different alliedship and stuff like that. So I know our relationship with each other is still solid. But how is y'all's with everyone else in the European Union now that you have left? I know, it would kind of, if I was a part of the European Union and if I was a country a part of the European Union and Britain left, it would kind of be a smack in the face. So I want to know how that played out. And if this guy has an updated video that's not from 2016, we could react to that as well to see the next chapter of the story. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!